All right, so we had a couple of questions that had come up with regards to homework and how do we set up equations in order to solve using a system of equations. So I wanted to pick two of the problems that were most commonly brought up. So the first one here is number 10, and it says that on a certain hot summer day, 481 people use the public swimming pool. The daily prices are $1.25 for children and $2.25 for adults. The receipt for admission totaled $865.25. How many children and how many adults swam at the public pool that day? So the first thing we want to do is we want to figure out, what is this asking? And it's asking us to find out how many children and how many adults. So that means we have two variables. We have a variable C and we have a variable A. Okay. So C obviously is going to be our children or a child, and A should be the adult. Okay, so I've identified my variables here. Now the next thing we have to do is figure out, well, how can we create some equations? So I'm looking for totals. The first total that I find is right here, 481 people. So if there's a total of 481 people, that means there were some children and some adults. So my very first equation is going to be that. It's going to be 481 is equal to however many children plus however many adults. And that's the equation. And that's all I need to really have. Children plus adults equal 481 people. So then the second total that I'm looking for is going to be money. And I have a total of money of $865.25. That's how much people paid to get in. So let's put that over here. Let's say that $865.25 is equal to however much money we got for the children. So let's figure that out. Well, we know that it is $1.25 per child. So we're going to take that $1.25 and multiply that by C, or however many children came in. Then we're going to add to that the amount of money we gained for the adults. The adults paid $2.25. That's $2.25 also times A. So remember, our total we said was the amount of children and the amount of adults added together. That equals the total number of people. And our total price, or I guess our total revenue here, is $865.25. That equals the amount gained from admission of children and the amount gained from the admission of adults. So right now, I have my two equations. From here, we want to create a system. And if you remember, we said that the system that the method that we're using is substitution. And some of you might have been thrown off because right now we don't have an X and a Y. And we said we solve everything for Y. But that doesn't mean it always has to be Y. We could solve it for C, or we could solve it for A. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve this for C. So let me change the color of my pen. And right here, I'm going to just subtract A from both sides. And I end up with 481 minus A equals C. And on this side, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to get C by itself. So I'm going to subtract $2.25 times A. So that means that I have $865.25. Whoops. I should show my work here. Sorry about that. So I'm going to subtract 225A. And so then I got ahead of myself there. I have $865.20. If I can write a 2 here. Oh my gosh. 25 cents minus, I don't know why it's doing that, 225A equals $1.25 times C. So again, we want to get the C by itself. So we're going to divide by $1.25 on all terms here. Whoops. Divide by $1.25. So $1.25 divided by $1.25 cancels out. I'm left with C all by itself over here. And on the other side here, we have $865.25. We're going to divide that by $1.25, and we end up with 600. Oops, grab my pen the right way. $692.20 minus, and we have $2.25 divided by $1.25, which is 1.8. So now we have our two equations here. So what I'm going to show you is that we have our C value, which equals this, and our C value, which now equals this. So remember what we said, C equals C, right? So if C equals C, that means that we should be able to say that 481 minus A is equal to 692.2 minus 1.8A. And here's where we build our wall. If we would add the 1.8A on both sides, now we start getting to an equation. 481 plus, this would be 0.8 would equal 692.2. And then, of course, we're going to take 692.2. We would subtract the 481. We get 211.2. And if we divide that by 0.8, we would get 264 people. So we're going to say that the adults, if I finish this, is 264. Now keep in mind that that's the amount of adults. To find the number of children, I'm going to come back up to this equation that I started with on the upper left-hand side here. And I'm going to say that 481 people was equal to some number of children plus some number of adults, but we found the number of adults to be 264. So if I subtract 264 on both sides, then we have 481 minus 264, and we end up with 217 children. Okay. So kind of a long way around that, but we found our equations to find the total number of people. We found our equation to find the total amount of money that had been gained. From there, we solved for one of the variables. And we could have just as well solved this for A and done the same thing. We would then find the children's result first. So what I'd like to do is just kind of go through, and I'm not going to go all the way through this problem, but I'm going to show you how to set it up. All right. So in this problem, we're saying that the members of the City Cultural Center decide to put on a play once a night for a week. Their auditorium holds 500 people. So right here, that's kind of a total for us. By selling tickets, the members would like to raise $2,050 every night to cover all expenses. We want to let D represent the number of adult tickets sold at $6.50. Let S represent the number of student tickets at $3.50 each. So letter A, if all 500 seats are filled for a performance, How many of each type of ticket must have been sold for the members to raise exactly $2,500? So again, they already told us 500 people. So we have 500 people, which is made up of adults, which they said to use D, plus students, which is S. That's my first equation. The other equation is going to deal with the amount of money earned. So we have $2,500 or $2,050, and that is made up of the adults, which are $6.50 times the number of adults plus $3.50 times the number of students. So there are two equations. And again, you can choose if you want to solve it for S, if you want to solve it for D, you want to get those by itself, and you want to go ahead and put those together. All right, so I just wanted to show you how it was that we found those equations. I encourage you to go back through the homework if needed and redo some of these examples and some of these practice problems. And then, of course, we're going to carry on through the rest of our agenda for today. But do the best that you can. Obviously, we'll answer further questions that you might have, and we'll move on from there.